Alright, Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. How y'all doing today? Um, just wanted to give a little news update here in case anybody missed it. Um, Cyberpunk 2077, as you can see here, is coming out September 25th, 2023. Um, so you're going to get an update to the game, and if you buy the expansion, Phantom Liberty, here, um, you're going to get a new campaign, I guess you could say, and some other, you know, extra stuff, I guess. Um, and if you pre-order, you can get this car. You know, some people are into that. So simply by pre-ordering, they'll give you this Quadra-Sport R7 Vigilante. I guess you won't have to buy it in the game. You'll just get it. Um, so what happened here? So that's cool. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up was the update that's coming to the game as far as um, path tracing goes and DLSS 3.5. All right, so I got an email today and I took a screenshot of it here. Um, it says, "Get ready for Phantom Liberty, a new spy thriller, enhanced with full ray tracing for the most immersive graphics in DLSS 3.5 for unmatched performance." So obviously that is only good on NVIDIA cards. Okay, so the regular DLSS and the path tracing will work on RTX 2000 series through the present generation 4000 series. Okay, sorry if my voice is crackling there. Um, frame generation will work with the 4000 series. All right, so here's what I got in my email, and I was quite surprised by what I saw. Okay, let me turn off the specs here so they get out of the way. All right, so this is quite interesting here. And I must have missed this last time when I was looking at the information, but this is quite interesting. Alright, now this is for 4000 series cards, so just mind that. So this is with frame generation. Obviously, I'm assuming anyway. So here's their setup here. So Phantom Liberty, so they actually have Phantom Liberty. I guess they're using that build. Max settings, okay, at each of these respective resolutions, right? RT overdrive in each one of these resolutions, and DLSS is on with ray reconstruction and frame generation, and they're using an i9 12900K with 32 gigs of RAM, Windows 11. Okay, so I'm not sure about the 4K. That's a 4080, not a 4090, so I don't know how a 4080 runs compared to a 4090 because I don't have a 4080, I only have a 4090. So, but just to point out, it says 4K ray tracing overdrive max settings, you're going to get 60 plus FPS. Okay? That's in 4K performance mode. Okay, so that's a little bit, you know. Well, it's not deceptive because they're telling you down here. But if you just looked at this at a glance, you wouldn't really know what's going on. So they did list it down here, so they are being transparent. But the thing that I'm looking at is this. RTX 4060 at 1080p max settings with ray tracing overdrive on with frame generation, they're claiming is going to get 60 plus FPS. Okay, so that is pretty interesting, right? Because that's pretty good. And here, with a 4070, they're claiming the same thing except for at 1440p. Right? So we're talking about 1440p, ray tracing overdrive, max settings, whatever that means. I'm assuming that means ultra. Okay? They're claiming with frame generation you're going to be able to get 60 plus FPS as well. And then 4K with the 4080, you know, you're going to get 60 plus FPS with the performance mode on. So, you know, I don't know why performance. I would think that you should be able to use quality mode in a 4080, but I don't have one, so I'm not sure. So it's kind of weird, right? So just remember, these two are going to be in DLSS quality mode with frame generation and ray reconstruction. Alright, so that's pretty nice. So if you guys are on the fence about getting a RTX card, you know, despite what everyone says out there is a lot of games that use ray tracing, right? But, you know, the popular games, you know, the Call of Duty and all that stuff, you know, the people who play it's like all you have out there with the YouTubers and the marketing is the popular games, right? Fortnite, you know, Call of Duty, Valorant, you know, whatever. It's like I don't even play any of those games. I don't even care about them, to be honest with you. You know, I care about single player games more than those, you know? So I don't know why they keep like shoving those in our face, you know what I mean? Like we want to play them or something. I hope I got this on right. Yeah. So it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? So, you know, if this is correct, then this is a pretty darn good experience, you know? So, and again, this is supposed to be DLSS 3.5, so it's supposed to be even better than DLSS 3 in a lot of respects. So it's supposed to be like a upgraded version of, you know, DLSS, the DLSS package, right? So where they did more testing, more data collecting, you know, all that stuff with the AI, and they said, you know, it's better than ever. So, you know, I haven't had any problems using DLSS or frame generation personally. And I have an RTX 2070, 2080 Ti, RTX 3090, and RTX 4090. So DLSS and frame generation work fine whenever I use them. So, and DLAA works beautifully in games when a game supports it. Yeah, so you know, the 4060 Ti right now, if I can bring it up here. Let's do Newegg. Let's see if they still have it. Newegg had I think it was Newegg. Had the 4060 Ti 16 gig on sale. Let's see, somebody probably bought it, I'll bet. Yes, so and these are not refurbished. Okay, let me make this bigger. Alright. So the 4060 Ti 16 gig is $450. the Asus Dual and the Zotac Gaming Force on Newegg, of course. You know, I guess you would have to check your local region if you're not in the United States. All right, so this is a really good price. You know, I would buy this over the 7700 XT. I mean, everybody's like saying, just forget about the 4060 Ti. I mean, I think that's kind of a mistake, but whatever. Because again, the AMD cards cannot use, at least right now, the Radeon cards can't use the path tracing. Correct me if I'm wrong, or the uh, ray tracing reconstruction, okay, or the DLSS, or the frame generation that NVIDIA has. Now, obviously, Radeon claims they're going to be coming out with their own version of frame generation, which is kind of funny because it's like all these years they've been kind of like downplaying, you know, how important DLSS was, how important ray tracing was, how important frame generation was. You know, they were one of the ones calling it fake frames, right? And here they are now going, "Oh, look at how much better we got in ray tracing." You know, and now they're going, "Oh, we're going to be bringing out our own frame generation." Of course, their FSR sucks. You know, that doesn't even come close to DLSS quality. And in a lot of cases, XESS looks better. So, yeah, so if you want to get ready for Phantom Liberty and play it in all of its fidelity glory, like I like to do, you know, I like ray tracing. I like high fidelity graphics. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're like me, you know, you can go for better rasterization and get a 7800 XT if you can find one. Um, or, you know, take a chance on the RTX 4060 16 gig. You know, it's 16 gigabytes, so it's future proof. You know, of course, it's got the small bus. Yes, but you know, Nvidia's claiming that if a 4060 can get 60 frames per second at 1080p, then I'm sure a 4060 Ti will be able to get over 60 frames per second at 1080p. So, you know, we can't really say it's going to get 60 plus at 1440, but it might. You know, you never know. It says 60 plus. Now, this is the average, remember. It says it right here. Where does it say that? Average FPS, right? So that's for the pre-release build, right? So they've been working on it since this test was done. So it could perform worse, you know, but I would imagine they're trying to tweak the game to squeeze out as much performance as possible, only because of what happened when they first released the game. Right? They don't want to be Starfield. Right? Where people start up their game and it's like the worst experience possible. Right? The game might be good, but the graphics don't look good. You know, there's all kinds of weird stuff happening. When you turn on upscaling, you know, the game just looks worse. Of course, that would only be with AMD FSR, not DLSS. But you get my point. So, you know, if these claims are correct, you know, and they are really like riding the hype train with this, saying that, you know, they really like did something good with this technology. So I don't know. Let's see here if I can go over it again. Let's see. I mean, right now they're on this page. They're really trying to sell you a card. But let's see what it's probably the same thing here, right? Let's see here. I don't know if they're going to show 3.5. I mean, you probably already saw it before. Let's see what it has here. So 3.5 enhancing ray tracing with AI, right? So, you know, this guy had a little talk that some people thought was boring, but I enjoyed it. Whatever. It wasn't long and it was kind of to the point. So here, let's see if we can read this. It says here, thanks to DLSS 3.5 smart technology fueled by AI rendering power, you can experience Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty newest location, Dogtown at its very best, with sharper images, more accurate lighting, and highest frame rates possible. First, the game engine generates the geometry and materials of a scene, all of which have physically based attributes that affect their appearance and how light interacts with them. A sample of rays are then shot from the camera's viewpoint, determining the properties of light sources in a scene and how light reacts when it hits the materials. For instance, if rays strike a mirror, reflections are generated. However, shooting rays for every pixel on your screen is way demanding, even for offline renderers that calculate scenes over the course of several minutes or hours, and I'm paraphrasing sometimes. So instead, ray samples must be used. These fire a handful of rays at various points across the scene for a representative sample of the scene's lighting, reflectivity, and shadowing. The output is a noisy speckled image with gaps good enough to ascertain how the scene should look when ray traced. So what happens, so let's see if they talk about ray reconstruction here. I don't know if they're going to have it. Here it is. Alright, I don't know if it's going to show here. So this was after they explained everything up here. So here you have what it would look like without, you know, the reconstruction, right? You're gonna have a lot of noise because it's just sending out rays at, you know, a sample, sample points, not every single pixel, right? So that way it can determine where the light's gonna go, right? So and then they talk about, you know, you can hand tune denoisers, or you can, you know, do it some other way, right? So so here you got sample rays, you got the denoiser, right? And then the upscaled image. All right. So so you can see that there's some distortion, right? The solution, NVIDIA DLSS 3.5 ray reconstruction, is part of an enhanced AI-powered neural renderer that improves ray trace image quality for all GeForce RTX GPUs. Okay, so this ray reconstruction, okay, let me zoom in a little bit more here if I can. The ray reconstruction is good for all GeForce, right? All GeForce GPUs. Okay, and it's replacing the hand-tuned denoisers with an NVIDIA supercomputer-trained AI network that generates higher quality pixels in between sample rays. So let's bring out this image here, right? So here you have the light, right? Then you have the materials and geometry. Here you have the sampled rays. You can see the noise, right? It's looking at the motion vectors and sending out the sample rays, right? Then you have here temporal feedback. I guess that's creates the 4K frame, right? As you can see here, it's kind of a little blurry. Then it goes to an optical flow accelerator and generates a frame, an extra frame. And then what you have is, you know, a high quality image output. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Now, what they don't tell you here, it would have been nice if they would have told you, like, you know, how much resources you're saving. So the whole point of the ray reconstruction is to save resources. So instead of using multiple denoisers, it only uses one. Okay, so that saves on, you know, PC resources. So your GPU's not working as hard, in other words, right? So they said that they trained this thing with 5 times more data than DLSS 3. So that's quite a lot, right? Because they already collected 3 generations of data up until DLSS 3. So that's like, you're talking about probably billions and billions and billions of samples, right? So they did probably billions and billions more, right? So trained with 5 times more data than DLSS 3, DLSS 3.5 recognizes different ray traced effects to make smarter decisions about using temporal and spatial data. And you can look that stuff up if you don't know what it is. It doesn't really matter. And to retain high frequency information for superior quality upscaling. You really just want to know what's the outcome going to be, right? There's superior quality upscaling. Now, what they mean by that is more superior than their previous method. Okay? Because they're not comparing it to XESS or FSR, right? Which we already know are inferior on many levels. So they're comparing it to their previous iteration, which would be DLSS 3. All right? So here they have another illustration. So their models were trained to incorporate addition engine data, right? Surface color, motion vectors, a normal image, at least how it sees normal. Trained to recognize different ray traced effects, right? So they have training for that. Trained to recognize good and bad temporal spatial pixels. So they were able to make it understand more what these rays are hitting, right? And the response that they would have. Okay. And then over here, trained to retain high frequency data for upscaling, right? So, this picture obviously is not the outcome you would see. It's just like, well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So, they really, it looks like they took extra steps, or did more training with extra steps to get a better outcome. Okay. And here we have another illustration. So this is what is this? Let me see. This is trained using offline rendered images, which require far more computational power than can be delivered during a real-time game. That's interesting to know. Ray reconstruction recognizes lighting patterns from training data such as that of global illumination or ambient occlusion and recreates it in-game as you play. The results are superior to using hand-tuned denoisers. So, I don't know if this is a new trick or not. It doesn't really matter to me. But it seems like they wanted to use the existing lighting effects that were in the game to I guess work with it in the process so that they can get a better outcome, right? So hand-tuned denoisers use heuristics to blend lighting information from multiple frames of sampled rays, right? So, I guess I'm not sure what this means, but I guess it's looking at this, and this, right? That's a lot of work, right? DLSS recognizes patterns to intelligently generate lighting effects for multiple frames of sampled rays, right? So instead of having to look at all this and all this, it probably notices, you know, um, I'm going to use the word extreme because that's probably not correct. But it probably looks at the scene and goes, "Oh, there's something here that looks like a shadow." You know, based on my previous examination of pictures and stuff. So then I guess what it will do is just focus on the necessary spot, right? Because if all this is already getting like a lighting here, then it doesn't really need to look at it, right? It knows that this is all going to be the same light here, and it's all going to be the same light here, but it's going, there's something here, right? So with this one, it's looking all over the place and trying to figure out what's what. So it's getting a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, but it's not really understanding that this whole corner here needs to be shadowed, right? It puts all the light here, it looks like, but it doesn't understand that this little corner here needs to be shadowed. So now, when it's looking at it, it's not wasting time looking at data that it can simply ignore, I guess. This is just my understanding. I could be totally wrong, but based on what I'm reading here and seeing, it's just going broop. All right, shadow, broop, you know, in the finished image. So that's cool. So it's a smarter way of doing it, right? So it's a more intelligent system, right? Based on, you know, the data and models that have been run. So that's cool. I mean, I'm okay with that. So, you know, if you guys are on the fence, man, and you want to experience Phantom Liberty and you need to upgrade your card, you know, the 4060 Ti right now is, you know, like I said, it's $450 on Newegg. That's a pretty good price. Now you can look at the 4060, but I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't go that far down. Yeah, they're still $299. Let me see if low price. Let's see if they got any on sale. So they have a low profile one here. Wow, that's crazy, huh? For $280. Oh, they have one for $289 as well. A PNY for $289. And they got a little baby. Oh, look at the little baby. So cute. Yeah, so if you need like a low profile one, or I don't even know if this one has a power supply. Let's see. Does it even have a power plug? I don't know if they're going to show it. Oh, I don't even see a power plug. Wow. Okay. So it looks like they got a real low profile video card. Again, I don't see a power port anywhere on here. It's just probably run by the PCI. So that's cool. Look at that. Now, it's only got 2.5 stars for some reason. Let's see what people are saying. They probably don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Why do I need to log in to look at it? To look at the reviews. No, I don't want to review it. That's probably why. Oh, I said write a review. That was my bad. So maybe people probably don't understand that this is like a low profile card and that it's a low wattage card. I guarantee you that's what they think. So they're like putting it through the ringer. Yeah, it runs loud. No kidding. What do you think it's gonna run? It says it has a. This one says It has a great cooler for ITX and affordable ITX. There's no reason anyone should put a premium price for less, period. So a win there. Cons, for some reason fans are loud out of the box. Using Afterburner, I got it down to way better fan curve, but will not go lower than 30%, which is just pointless. Is 30% really that loud? I mean, I don't start hearing my fans until I put them up to like maybe 60%. So it's kind of weird. But it says here the GPU never hits more than 45% under heavy loads and stays around 70 degrees. Why is it pricey? And why are they complaining about 120-bit memory bus? It's like that you already know going in that's what it has. And why would you think that this is a 1440p card? It's not advertised as such. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I don't understand people. Well, anyway, whatever. That's their opinion. I'm not gonna defend it. I mean, if it's loud, it's loud. You know. I mean, I agree for the price. Zotac probably should have put a better fan on it. You know? But, you know, I don't know. I can't imagine it. I'm surprised that it gets up to 70 degrees. Like, it's really like, that's kind of strange. You know what I mean? But anyway. Either way, I mean, if you want to get a 4060, you have options that are 300 and less, right? Most of them here are under $300. I mean, if you didn't want to go for this one, you can go for this one. But this one doesn't have any reviews at all. This is a back order item. So for $290, you can get one that has 2 fans, which is probably better. But it's going to have a power plug, I imagine. Where the heck? Oh yeah, right there. 8-pin. And that's PNY. So, yep. So, you know, if you can't go higher, if you can't get up to the 4060 Ti, then you can get the, you know, 4060 for $290. I mean, obviously, you know, everybody's saying buy Radeon because they're cheap right now. That's true. But again, I like fidelity, so I like the path tracing. I like the ray tracing. I like the DLSS. I like the frame generation. You know, I'm okay with all that. I would rather have all that than not, you know, so that's just me. So anyway, get ready for Phantom Liberty. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.